So there's this phrase, follow your bliss. You've probably heard it before. Uh, Sounds exciting, sounds really lovely, getting to merge whatever you do, whatever path you take with feeling good. And there's both something to that, and also there's like another level to follow your bliss that I want to speak to. Because on the good side of follow your bliss, just like on the surface, do things that feel good. Do things that you want to do. Live the life that you want to live. Follow what feels good to your soul. Follow what feels good to your personal human being. Totally makes sense. And there's this idea that if you follow your bliss, then the world will yield itself up to you, that everything will work out great, which to some degree, there's something there. There can be a dark side to this. If you go a little bit too shallow with this idea of follow your bliss, really it's kind of descending into a bit more of a immature, hedonic way of being, where you're simply pursuing pleasure and avoiding pain. And if that's done in a narrow way, then really you're just kind of ping-ponging all around based on your feelings that come and go pretty frequently, even back and forth throughout the day. And if you're trying to live your life that way, you're probably also moving towards comfort and away from discomfort. You're probably not growing much if you're in this more immature version of following your bliss. So, as I understand it, follow your bliss became popular coming out of something that Joseph Campbell said in his teachings. Joseph Campbell was a big fan of following your bliss. And where that originally came from, what he was referring to then was this Buddhist path of, not even a path, but this teaching of Sat Chit Ananda, where Sat is absolute existence, being, truth. Chit is consciousness. It's comprehension of everything. And Ananda means bliss. So I believe it goes Joseph Campbell is well, I'm not so sure if I know the absolute truth, and I'm not sure if I can really achieve the state of being fully aware of awareness. But bliss, yeah, I can do that. I can follow that path. And hence, follow your bliss was born. So I want to actually go back to Sat Chit Ananda, which is where this originally came from. So Sat Chit Ananda was really a way of describing everything. So it wasn't even a path. It wasn't even something to do. So it wasn't even follow your bliss. It's more bliss is part of the Ananda part of Sat Chit Ananda. How do we describe, how do we point to, how do we get a sense of an understanding of reality with a capital R? So Sat Chit Ananda were three different ways, three different perspectives. It's three of the blind men trying to describe the elephant of reality. And Ananda, I think what has gotten lost in translation between Ananda and follow your bliss is that, yes, in English, Ananda, perhaps the best translation is bliss, but I'd probably say it's bliss with a capital B instead of a lowercase b. So we usually think of bliss as feels good in the body, feels good to me, oh, I like this. Ananda, in the sense of describing ultimate reality, is the spiritual equivalent of that. Sort of like there's the ego, which is the little s self, and then there's the soul or spirit, which is the capital S self. Well, Ananda is the capital B bliss, not to be like, it's an analog to, but not to be mistaken with the personal lower B bliss. So Ananda is the aliveness of, of everything. It's the aliveness of the universe. It's the kindness of the design. It's that sense of wonder you get when you're witnessing a sunset. So it's also the sense of aliveness and beauty, and even like all the feelings, grief, loss. When you're grieving the loss of a loved one, what you're feeling is Ananda. You might not describe it as personal bliss, you might not describe it as a personal positive good feeling, but there's a deep aliveness that you're connected with to the universe. So that's Ananda. So whenever you're thinking of like follow your bliss, wherever you might have that in your life, it's like, okay, well, what's the job that I actually want to do? What's the where do I want to actually live? Do I want to do X or do I want to do Y? Well, follow your bliss. Instead of following your more personal cravings, instead of following like simple pleasure and pain, what if you tap into something deeper? Like, what does the universe want of you? What would bring more aliveness? Often there's, in making a powerful choice, there might be something where you really don't like it, or it's really vulnerable, or it's really scary, or it's really disorienting, but the Ananda is there. The deeper bliss of the universe, like there's something richer, there's something bigger, there's something deeper in that direction. That's what it means to follow your bliss. It's what does spirit want of you, rather than what does your personal self want. And fortunately, like, the more that you're in touch with Ananda, the more the spiritual and the personal bliss are aligned. So actually, one of the things I've noticed when people are operating, the term I use is higher on the ladder of consciousness, there does tend to be, like, it's closer and closer what the universe wants of you and what you personally want as well. So the more that you follow your capital B bliss, it tends to have a lot more of the lowercase b bliss with it as well. I think it's part of the beauty and the kindness of the design. Yeah, so contemplate for yourself for a few moments. If you let go of pursuing pleasure and avoiding pain, if you let yourself be with the full aliveness and beauty of being a mortal being in this infinite world, what does Ananda bring up for you? What does it open up for you? Where does it guide you? So what would it be like to follow your Ananda?